Hello, my name is Archie. We're going to review completing a square. First of all, a quadratic equation. This is the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. In order to complete the square, you need the numerical coefficient of the square term to be 1. So we're going to divide everything by a. So we have x squared plus b over ax plus c over a. Take the constant term and set it over to the other side. So we divide by a, we took the constant term and moved to the right side. You take 1/2 of this term, square it, and add it to both sides. Because if you don't add it to both sides, you now have a different equation. So, the descending order, divide by a to make sure this is 1, move the constant term to the other side, take half of the term before the x, square it, and add it to both sides. I will let you finish this, that's one of the homework problems. So let's do a couple problems and see where we're at. We want to solve, let's go with here we go, x squared plus 12x plus 20 equals 0. Okay, we want to solve this by completing the square. Number 1, the numerical coefficient of x squared is a positive 1, that's good. We're going to take the constant term and move to the other side. We're going to take half of the coefficient of the x term, half of it, and square it. So half of 12 is 6. I'll tell you why I write this here, I'll show you why in a second. And we're going to add that to both sides, because if you don't, you have a different equation. This should be a perfect square trinomial, which is the idea of completing the square. So this factors into x plus 6 20 squared equals 16. Now, if you put 6 here, then you know that goes there. You could put 36, which is fine, but I like to put the 6 squared so I know what goes there. If this is a positive sign, this is positive. If this is a negative sign, this is negative. So, now, recall from previous mathematics, if x squared equals k, then x equals plus or minus the square root of k. Fudge. So, we're going to take the square root of both sides, so x plus 6 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16, which is 4. Subtract 6 from both sides. And we have an answer. We have minus 2 or minus 10. So we made sure the numerical coefficient of x squared is 1. We took the constant term, moved to the other side. We take half of the coefficient of the x term, half of this, and square it, add it to both sides. If this is a plus, this is a plus. Perfect square trinomial. Take the square root of both sides, and we have an answer. So let's do one more. There is a PDF file of some practice problems that you can download with answers if you like. Okay, let's do one a little bit different. 2x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals 0. It's in descending order. We have a problem here. It's not a positive 1, it's a 2. So we're going to divide everything by 2. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 5 halves equals 0. We're going to take the constant term and move it to the other side. We're going to take half of the coefficient of x and square it to both sides and add it. This is a perfect square trinomial. This is a minus sign, so a minus goes here, and we took 3 halves. And we have minus 5 halves plus 9 fourths. So we'll clean that up a little bit. We have x minus 3 halves quantity squared equals minus 5 halves plus 9 fourths. X minus 3 halves quantity squared is equal to minus 10 fourths plus 9 fourths. X minus 3 halves quantity squared is equal to minus 1 fourth. I hope that's right. If it's not, you'll figure it out. So we take the square root of both sides. We have x minus 3 halves equals plus or minus the square root of minus 1 fourth. We have x minus 3 halves. You may recall from algebra that the square root of minus 1 is I. So we have plus or minus 1/2 I. We'll add 3 halves to both sides. And voila, we have our answer. So the trick is to make the numeric coefficient positive 1, so we divide it through by this. Take the constant term, move to the other side. Take 1/2 of the numeric coefficient of the x term and square it. 1/2 of this, square it and add it to both sides. Perfect square trinomial, solve for x. Thank you, good luck. Oh wow.